Ever wondered how machines learn and make decisions? Welcome to the intriguing world of machine learning. Machine learning, in its simplest form, is the process by which computers are enabled to improve their performance at tasks through experience. It's a type of artificial intelligence that gives computers the ability to learn without explicitly being programmed to do so. Imagine a child learning to identify different types of fruits. You show them an apple and say, "This is an apple." After a few repetitions, the child begins to recognize apples on their own. Machine learning works in a similar manner. It's all about teaching computers to recognize patterns and make decisions based on those patterns. Now, there are two main types of machine learning we should understand: supervised learning and unsupervised learning. Picture supervised learning as a guided tour. The machine is provided with labeled data, meaning the data is tagged with correct answers. For example, if we want a machine to recognize images of cats, we might feed it thousands of pictures, clearly labeled cat or not cat. The machine uses this labeled data to learn, and eventually, when presented with a new image, it can accurately identify whether it's a cat or not. On the other hand, unsupervised learning is more like exploring a new city on your own. The machine is given unlabeled data and asked to find structure or relationships within the data. For instance, given a data set of customer shopping habits, an unsupervised learning algorithm might identify distinct groups of customers based on their purchase patterns. Remember, the goal of machine learning is not just to store information, but to learn from it and use that knowledge to make decisions or predictions. It's like teaching a computer to be a detective, sifting through mountains of data to find the gems of insight that can guide our decisions. In essence, machine learning is about teaching computers to learn from data and make decisions or predictions based on it. There are numerous machine learning algorithms, but today, we will focus on some of the most beginner-friendly ones. First on our list is linear regression. Picture a scatter plot with data points spread around. Linear regression essentially finds the best fit straight line through these points. It's like trying to draw a line through a cloud of points with a ruler. This algorithm is widely used in predicting numeric outcomes, like forecasting stock prices or predicting house prices based on different features. Next up is logistic regression. Despite its name, logistic regression is used for classification problems, not regression. Think of it as a switch that flips between two states, say yes or no. For instance, it can be used to predict whether an email is spam or not, or if a patient has a disease based on certain symptoms. Moving on to decision trees. Imagine a flowchart where each node represents a feature or attribute, and each branch represents a decision rule. The end of the branch that doesn't split anymore is the decision or the final outcome. Decision trees are used in a variety of scenarios, from predicting loan defaulters in banking to identifying faulty parts in manufacturing. Finally, we have the k-nearest neighbors algorithm, often abbreviated as KNN. Picture a bunch of colored dots on a graph. Now, if we add a new dot and we want to know what color it should be, we look at the k closest dots and let them vote. The color with the most votes wins. KNN is widely used in recommendation systems like suggesting similar products or movies. These are just a handful of the many algorithms used in machine learning. Each has its strengths and weaknesses, and the choice of algorithm often depends on the nature of the problem and the data at hand. The beauty of machine learning is that there is no one-size-fits-all solution. It's a dynamic field that encourages experimentation and learning. These algorithms, though simple, are powerful tools in the hands of a data scientist. The success of a machine learning model is not only determined by the choice of algorithm, but also by the quality of the input data. In the world of machine learning, the process of preparing the input data, selecting the right features, and tweaking them to improve the model's performance is known as feature engineering. It's an art form that requires a blend of domain knowledge, intuition, and data science skills. Let's start with feature selection. It's the process of picking the most relevant features from your dataset, those that contribute most to your model's predictive power. This is crucial because irrelevant or partially relevant features can negatively impact the model performance. Next, we have feature engineering techniques that help us transform our data into a format that makes it easier for machine learning algorithms to process. Normalization is one such technique. It's used to change the values of numeric columns in the dataset to a common scale, without distorting differences in the ranges of values or losing information. Then there's one-hot encoding, a process of converting categorical data into a format that could be provided to machine learning algorithms to improve predictions. Let's say we have a color feature with values red, blue, and green. One-hot encoding will create 3 new features: is underscore red, is underscore blue, and is underscore green, each representing the presence or absence of a particular color. Last but not least, there's feature scaling. Imagine you have 2 features: age that ranges from 0 to 100 and income that ranges from 0 to several millions. These 2 features are in different scales, which can cause problems for some machine learning algorithms. Feature scaling helps to bring all features to the same level of magnitudes. These techniques and many others are all part of the feature engineering process, a critical step in building an effective machine learning model. Remember, a well-constructed feature can make the difference between a mediocre and a great model. How do you know if your machine learning model is doing a good job? That's where evaluation metrics come into play. Imagine you have a machine learning model that's been trained and is ready for action. But how can you tell if it's performing as well as it should be? To answer this, we turn to evaluation metrics. These are quantifiable measurements that give us insight into how well our model is doing its job. Let's start with accuracy. In simple terms, accuracy is the number of correct predictions your model makes divided by the total number of predictions. However, accuracy can be misleading in certain scenarios, especially when dealing with imbalanced data sets. That's when precision and recall come into the picture. Precision is the proportion of true positives against all the positive results, both true and false. It's a measure of how many of the positively predicted cases were actually positive. Recall, on the other hand, also known as sensitivity, measures the proportion of actual positives that are correctly identified. It's about how many of the actual positives our model captured through labeling it as positive. Balancing precision and recall, we arrive at the F1 score. It's the harmonic mean of precision and recall and gives us a single metric that encapsulates both aspects. An F1 score reaches its best value at 1 and worst at 0. But what if your model is performing too well? Yes, there is such a thing. This is where we introduce the concepts of overfitting and underfitting. Overfitting occurs when your model becomes a little too good at predicting the training data, and as a result, performs poorly on new data. Underfitting is the opposite, where the model doesn't learn enough from the training data, resulting in a poor performance overall. In essence, understanding these evaluation metrics and concepts helps us tune our models to ensure they're not just memorizing the training data, but also generalizing well to new data. Model evaluation is a critical step in the machine learning process, ensuring your model is accurately predicting outcomes. Now that we've covered the basics, let's see how these concepts work in action. Imagine we're working with Python, a language loved for its simplicity and powerful libraries. One such library is scikit-learn, a go-to tool for machine learning. Let's say we're implementing a linear regression model. First, we need to import the necessary libraries. We bring in pandas for data manipulation, NumPy for numerical computations, and of course, sklearn for our machine learning needs. In sklearn, we specifically import linear_model, which houses our linear regression function. Next, we load our data. Let's say it's a CSV file containing house prices and their attributes. We use pandas read_CSV function for this. Once we have our data, we split it into features and target variables. The features might be things like the number of rooms and the age of the house, while the target is the house price. Now we're ready to create our model. We initiate a new instance of the linear regression class and fit our model using the fit method, passing in our features and target. Now, what if we want to predict the price of a new house on the market? We simply use the predict method on our model, passing in the new house's attributes. And voila, we have our prediction. This is just a basic example. The same process applies to other algorithms like logistic regression, decision trees, and k-nearest neighbors. The beauty of scikit-learn is that it provides a consistent interface across all these algorithms. You initiate the model, fit it, and make predictions, no matter the algorithm. Remember to pre-process your data and tune your model for the best results. Techniques like normalization, one-hot encoding, and feature scaling can be crucial. And don't forget to evaluate your model using metrics like accuracy, precision, recall, and F1 score. This will help you understand how well your model is performing and where it could improve. With these basics, you're now ready to dive deeper into the world of machine learning. Keep practicing and happy coding.